You know, Arthur Conan Doyle didn't just write a book. He literally changed how we look at clues forever. So today, we're diving straight into a rapid 3-minute review of the definitive masterpiece of mystery, The Complete Sherlock Holmes. Let's get into it.
60. That is the staggering number of mysteries we're talking about here. The full scope of this collection gives us 56 short stories and 4 full-length novels. That's an entire 40-year career of just solving the impossible. Stretching all the way from A Study in Scarlet in 1887 to 1927. These stories didn't just entertain people, they essentially invented modern detective fiction. Seriously, think about the forensic science you see in today's thrillers. It all traces its DNA right back to these very pages.
Now, the true genius of this whole collection? It's all about the friction between our two leads. On one hand, you have Sherlock Holmes, a master of cold logic, disguises, and chemistry who is famously isolated from his own emotions. And grounding him, you've got Dr. John Watson. He brings the courage, the medical expertise, and this incredibly warm humanity that perfectly balances out Holmes's extreme intellect.
But here's kind of a hilarious piece of irony for you. Arthur Conan Doyle actually grew sick of his own creation. Yeah, he tried to permanently end Holmes's story at the Reichenbach Falls so he could focus on other writing. But Victorian readers were so outraged by this that public demand, which was essentially a 19th century cancellation campaign, literally forced Doyle to bring the detective back from the dead.
Of course, every great intellect needs an equal counterweight, right? Enter Professor James Moriarty. He is the absolute ultimate criminal mastermind. Think of him as a spider sitting at the center of London's underworld web with a genius that actually matches Holmes. Whenever these two minds finally clash, the stakes are just unforgettable. Anchoring this massive collection of 4 major novels, and they really push the boundaries. We get to watch the duo evolve from their very first meeting in A Study in Scarlet, through the treasure and betrayal of the Sign of the Four, straight into those famously haunting moors in The Hound of the Baskervilles, and finally into the dangerous secret societies we see in The Valley of Fear.
But honestly, the true engine of this collection is the 56 short stories. The variety here is just staggering. We're talking everything from simple missing persons cases to vast political conspiracies. And the best part? Holmes never relies on luck. He catches killers through the tiny details that we all completely overlook. You know, the specific ash of a cigar, the depth of a footprint in the mud, or just the behavioral quirks of a nervous client. So if you take nothing else away from this explainer, let it be this core philosophy. Logic always triumphs over superstition. That's Doyle's ultimate message here. Careful observation, absolute reason, and steadfast friendship will always pierce through any veil of fear or blind assumption.
Now, to be completely objective, this collection is definitely a product of its time. The strengths are absolutely undeniable. You get this incredibly rich Victorian atmosphere, super clever solutions, and arguably the most iconic duo in literature. But on the flip side, modern readers might find the pacing a bit slow, the plot structures can get a little repetitive, and yeah, you're definitely going to encounter some dated 19th century social norms along the way.
So, what is the final verdict for this massive body of work? For me, it remains a definitive 5 out of 5. It is just a timeless masterpiece. Even more than a century later, the razor-sharp reasoning of Holmes and that enduring bond he shares with Watson make this an immensely rewarding read. Seeing how these stories basically wrote the rulebook for the modern thriller, the only question left is, are you ready to unlock the door at 221B Baker Street for yourself? If you're a fan of complex puzzles and literature that really makes you think, you owe it to yourself to meet the original consulting detective. The game is afoot.